Alrighty, for real, for the 5th time, we are here. A little bit about us. My name is Sierra Edwards. I use he, they pronouns. Let's see what I put in our slide. So I go to cartoon school. I have my undergrad in sculpture, and then I decided to switch subjects for grad school. My favorite movie is From Up on Poppy Hill. And then I really love burnt chicken nuggets when I put them in the air fryer. It's got to be like an extra 5 minutes, you know. And then I wouldn't be here ever without my Powerade Zero. Always here. But tonight, since it is so late, we have Coke Zero. This is Rebecca Babs Peterson. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rebecca. I go by she, her pronouns. Some fun facts about me that are not on the screen. Chocolate chip cookies are my passion, something I feel very passionate about. I spend way too much time playing Sims and Skyrim, and I like shoujo anime way too much. And Massachusetts, born and raised, but I like Connecticut as a little side treat. I love your anime conventions, and I love your pizza. And I'll be back for more. Thank you.
Okay, so you can't see it on the screen, but luckily we brought the prop. So we have a bet going today. Originally we were at a different time, and so we decided to put a little wager on how many people would show up to the panel. I have one. I believe we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll count Fama as 6. I said if there were less than 7 people, I would get to keep our crusty, dusty $5 bill. It is ripped and taped together. It has Dan.
It says Dan on it.
It says Dan on the back. I don't know how I ended up with this, but it's basically been our wager between us ever since. So I get to keep this. I'm very excited about that.
I can't believe you won. Makes me
Okay.
mad.
I wonder if this will work.
Probably not.
Okay. Welcome to our kingdom. We have some ground rules, but I don't think we'll need them tonight. Just an FYI, there will be some spoilers. We're going to keep them as light as possible. Basically, just anything that's relevant to the the points that we're going to make. If you have any questions, this is a roaring room, okay? I'm gonna say, usually I would say hold the questions until the end. If you have something really burning, feel free to bring it up. There's again, 8 of us in this room tonight. And then there will be a 10, 15 minute Q&A at the end, depending on how quickly we get through these slides. And then, do you wanna click next? Okay. I wonder.
These memes aren't funny if nobody can see them. Only we can see them. Do you want to try it?
Okay, actually, this is what I'm gonna do.
Are you gonna pass the laptop around?
Oh, I think this is what we're gonna do. How do people feel comfortable coming closer? Gonna shuffle around. Thank you so much. We're gonna do this old-fashioned style presentation. Okay, I'm just gonna unplug this. It's real cozy. I don't think we need the microphone. You want to?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, we can probably put it on regular mode. Hold up.
Gather round, children.
Yes. Okay. Can people see this any better than before? Okay,
Well,
great.
they see something now, so that's good.
We're adaptive, you know? Okay.
Am I getting down there?
Yeah, you're coming down here with me. We're in this together. Okay. Welcome.
Excuse me.
These are very awesome slides that we put together. It's fine. Don't worry about the video. Who cares?
We're really
this
roving it right now.
Okay. Okay, this is our close-up scan. I actually got in trouble with Photoshop. They were they wouldn't let me open it. They were like, stop counterfeiting. And I was like, I promise I'm not counterfeiting.
No illegal activity.
This is our please behave during our comics panel. Did I mention that I am a cartoonist?
Maybe.
in training.
Maybe.
Stick around to the end. I made way too many of these. Feel free to take a couple. They will basically just summarize the panel that you saw today. Okay. And then, what even is a suffer princess? Really good question. Probably read the panel description or didn't, but we'll go over it here.
The novel of a description.
Yes. 5-paragraph essay right before the panel. So it all starts here with Scrap Princess, the original Suffer Princess. Yes, an anime, haha. It starts with Pacifica Kasul. And this is all basically, I was showing Babs the show. And this character just like goes through so much that Babs is like,
I was like, why do you only show me animes that are sad and people die? Like, spoilers.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, this should be renamed Suffer Princess. And that was like a reoccurring joke that we had throughout while watching this.
yeah. So basically, like, Pacifica is like this 15-year-old girl. She's about to turn 16. She was abandoned as a baby, like literally like thrown off a cliff. But this family picks her up. Yeah, she survives somehow.
Somehow survives. Oh,
Literally. And she survives miraculously and is adopted by this family. And she has these 2 older siblings, Shannon and Raquel. And they basically are her protectors in this world where everybody wants her dead. And do you want to?
Shannon and Raquel are both like really skilled swordsmen and skilled magicians, so that they can like protect her throughout the storyline. And throughout the story, they're trying to get her away from the castle so that they can protect her. And then what's the next line?
Yeah, so she's living like a pretty happy life. Like, she's having a great time with her siblings.
She's spoiled.
Yeah, nothing is wrong in this world. Like, nobody wants her dead. It's not a problem. Basically, like, why do people want this 15-year-old dead? Like, that's kind of weird, right? Basically, like, sometime in humanity's past, there was like a oops, like a mistake somewhere. And there's like this prophecy that's born as like a consequence of like this like humanity's mistake. And basically they're like, ooh, in the future, boy-girl twins will be born to the royal family. And the girl, of course, will be the one. Yeah, she's gonna like bring about the end of the world or something.
On her 16th birthday.
Yeah, and Pacifica
is
that baby, and she is 15 and like how many quarters old. So like everybody's like, it's getting really close to that birthday. So there's like a bunch of people that want her dead. This is the cliff scene. I don't know how well it's here, but they literally like, they're like holding her. They're like, oh, and then boom, down the cliff.
I just find it amazing that they just chuck a baby off a cliff and they just were expected to just assume that she just lives. Like, people just find her and it's like, all right, I guess this baby just lives being chucked off a cliff.
You know, the narrative is, this part of the narrative is the only part working for her in this. So basically, like, especially like her parents, the king and queen, who are like, oh my god, we had these like cursed twins. And they like team up with like these like, it's the Pacifica...
Peacemakers?
Yeah, the Pacifica Death Squad.
Oh, Pacifica Death
Squad. That's what we named them.
Their one goal is to kill Pacifica.
Yeah,
so.
That's really like, they're like, oh, this prophesized child, we gotta murder her. So they're like, they're out trying to kill Pacifica. There's like these random like other groups that are like also with the state that don't have superpowers, and so they just have swords and they're trying to kill Pacifica. And then like the whole church like created this cult and they were like, oh, kill this 15-year-old. And everybody was like fine with it. Even like this girl's like adoptive aunt is like, I feel like it's time.
You're gonna die, sorry.
I feel like it's time. So like, she is suffering so much. She is going through it. I think this is a happy series.
It looks like a happy series on the outside, but as you're watching it, the mood is so like somber and sad. So that's why I kept making the joke. I'm like,
I was like,
Suffer
so
Princess.
Good.
Like all these shows you keep picking are so goddamn sad. So Suffer Princess.
So yeah, her and her siblings are basically like going through it. The entire world is against them. Pacifica like has like paper skin and glass bones, and every night she goes to bed and breaks everything, you know.
Lying in agony.
Yeah, literally. But don't worry, there's a little bit of hope in this world. There's a little bit of a system in place that's like, oh, gotta protect the scrap princess. So yeah, she has a small team of people that she meets along the way. They're like, oh, should we kill this girl for the whole world? Will the world end if this girl lives? Everybody's kind of asking this question, but basically what Pacifica is thinking through all of this is like, do I have to, this prophecy exists. Is it like a problem for me to live? So she's constantly just battling like herself against like the entire weight of the world. Just like a little bit of pressure, just a little bit. So yeah, kind of like what we were talking about before. Babs and I are friends outside of making panels somehow.
Sometimes.
And we both like go back and forth like watching shows. So like I suggested Scrap Princess, and then she suggested Lovely Complex, and we had a nice little break. It's like a good like rom-com. And then immediately I was like, Romeo x Juliet. It's a romance, right? No tragedy. It'll be fine.
We all know Romeo and
Yeah,
Juliet,
yeah.
right?
We've seen like the new the new movies, and like we've read the Shakespearean play in school. Like it's a very happy story, and nothing bad happens.
Nobody dies.
So there's an anime version of it, in case you didn't know. And our protagonist is Juliet. She's super cool. So she is also 15 and a girl.
And a princess. Do we have something here?
We do.
Know,
I mean, we haven't revealed that much yet, but we'll get there.
Hold on.
But yeah, so she is like a young girl. She's living in this land called Neo Verona. She has this like really cool like secret identity where she's like, wha-bam! I think you said it was like Robin Hood.
Robin Hood character,
Yeah.
the Red Whirlwind, where she's like kind of helping out the poor, and she's against this whole like king's ruling. He's not ruling Neo Verona in a very nice way. So.
Yeah, he's kind of being mean to everybody.
All the people,
so she's like, oh, gotta dress up as a boy and fight people. And wow, she's battling people. She's battling the evil Montagues who are in power, right? This Romeo x Juliet. And her identity has kind of been, she has like an indoor and outdoor identity, and like outdoors she's like masquerading as a boy, and then inside she like can let her hair down like literally and take the pressure off. So like, why is she living like this double life? And basically on her 16th birthday, like these like Capulet royalists are like, hey, so like the Capulets used to rule one day, like we used to be in power, and then the evil Montagues kicked us out, and they murdered your entire family, and they tried to kill you all these years, but we saved you, so we need you to like fight for our cause and like bring the Capulets back and like save the world from tyranny. And she's like, wow, that's a lot for like a 16th birthday present.
Sweet 16.
Yeah. So basically, yes, she is not only a girl, but she is also a princess. Pretty cool. So yeah, Romeo x Juliet. Nothing bad ever happens in this series, right? She has this like new cause, but also at the same time, she's like, wow, Romeo's looking really good. So she's like, okay, like that, like, gonna go with that. But also like, he is like the crown prince. He's like the Montague heir, right? So he's like the enemy. They run away together. They like get like fake married in a church. And they're like playing like farming simulator, and the entire time that they're playing like this farming simulator, they're like, wow, like something's really weird with like the earth, like I don't know, there's a big tree, and like like the whole series is like not sci-fi until all of a sudden it's like, sci-fi.
You're watching the series and you think it's like, oh, just Romeo and Juliet, but anime, and then like halfway through you're like, oh, sci-fi tree, like floating pizza slice in the sky, like we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So like basically like this like lady, I guess also Hamlet, like this lady's name is Ophelia, and she's like, so it's prophecy time, right? Sometime in the past, humanity made an oops, and Capulets, who are the royals, have been like sacrificing like a Capulet daughter every generation since this like mistake happened.
To the tree.
Yeah.
to make the tree happy.
Yeah. And so like Juliet's like the last daughter, right, with royal blood. So she's like, oh, that's not so good. But right, it's Romeo ex Juliet, so like we got to kill them off, right? Mm-hmm. So like Juliet's like, wow, I like have fallen in love, and like I have like this new cause that I'm like working towards, but also like if I live, like there's nothing worth protecting at that point because like the whole world's gonna end if we don't save this tree. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she's like, her biggest battle is like, it's me or this tree in this world. So she's also like Pacifica, like having some sort of age crisis at 16, is like a secret princess, has been discarded, like something is going on here, like something's a little fishy.
We're like, is this something we can talk about for 45 minutes on a panel? Maybe.
I literally
write that down.
We were watching this and I had like a school assignment that was like it was like a very serious assignment, and I was like, I gotta talk about anime somehow. So I was like, oh, there's like a trope happening here. Like, and I did like a 5-minute presentation, and I was like, yeah, I feel like we can like,
there's something here.
Something's cooking. So like, okay, we got Scrap Princess, the original Suffer Princess. We got Romeo x Juliet, and then like, what else is out there? We're gonna tell you. That's why you're here, right?
Sit down.
Okay, so first we're gonna go over like the definition in this tiny font that I was already worried about how tiny it was when I put it in here.
So now we get to read it off the tiny screen.
We're gonna take our binoculars and read this for you. Literal princess, girl, abandoned as a baby, everybody wants them dead. Small faction of people like randomly on their side, and then 16th birthday is somehow significant, like sweet 16, oh my god. The prophecy, and then they basically like, okay, they need to die or like the world will end, and like what kind of is like one of the most like defining things about the Suffer Princess is like this conflict between like me or the world. So, I don't know, have you guys heard of like Osamu Tezuka? Oh, yes, okay. I'm like baby learning about him. I went to comic school and I was like, I know anime, and they were like, do you know about like Tezuka? And I was like, no, I'm sorry. But if you don't know, maybe you've heard of Astro Boy. It's like broken containment, it's gotten over here. He's like the godfather of like manga. He wrote like a lot of stuff, just like a ton, like he was like trying to write it on his deathbed. But there's this series called Dororo. Haven't finished the manga, haven't finished the anime, but we don't need to talk about it. So we had this character not Dororo, okay? One of my biggest qualms with this series, why are we naming character's name, whose main character is Hyakkimaru. He has also gone through a pretty sufferful life, abandoned as a baby due to like birth defects. He's living off of like prosthetics that like this like doctor makes for him, but also the doctor teaches him how to fight and like puts sword in his arm. So like he's pretty good. And this monk teaches him like values or something. I forget. But he like fights demons all his life. So like, why is he doing this? There's like, I think like 12 pages in the first like little chapter. It's called The Inception. It's kind of cool because it's like, imagine if you actually got to see like humanity's original oops and like what causes like a Suffer Princess to like be born, like literally. So basically there's like this, I'm gonna call it Japan, I'm not entirely sure, sorry. this land, and there's like a ruler, and he goes to like the hall of hell, or like the hall of demons or something, and like he's basically like, give me power. And in the anime he's more like, oh, the land is dying. Save my land, I'll give you whatever you want. And in the manga he's kind of like, power. So he's here and he's basically like, oh, demons, help me. I'll give you whatever I want. And they're like, yeah, we'll take whatever we want. And like all this stuff happens, and like lightning bolts, and he like murders a monk. And he gets home and his like wife is like giving birth, and he's like, oh, okay, like cool, that's great, I'm gonna have an heir. And then they're kind of like, wow, something's wrong with the baby. And he's like, oh yeah, like, oh wait, hold up. They're like, oh, like the deal went through, like the baby, like they took all the demons took these like pieces of the baby, this is great. And he's like, oh, chuck it, like he puts it down the river like Moses style. It's like, bye, you know, first a cliff, then a river, you know. So that's not Dororo, that's Hyakkimaru. Anyway, anime him like is going around with real Dororo. And fighting demons, and basically like every time he fights like a really big demon, he like gets a part of his body back. So it's kind of like cool. The manga isn't really like a big deal about like him getting his body back, but the anime is very much like, oh, like this whole deal was made, like we sacrificed you to like save the kingdom and save the world. So like anime Hyakkimaru is like, oh my god, every time I like get a piece of my body back, like the world is ending a little bit in a way. So yeah, his biggest clash is like me versus the world. So he's a suffer princess. A little bit of qualities that maybe he does mix or not match with is he is a literal prince, right? So he was like the firstborn kid of like the lord or the king or whatever. But he's a boy. Boo. Anyway, maybe he can be in this trope. The other one that we don't have is basically hits all the marks, you know, sacrifice, prophecy, all this kind of stuff. But he has no sweet 16.
No.
I think that's his biggest problem, you know. So what does he add to the trope, right? Like what's interesting about him, you know, we have the OGs, they're always going to be the OGs, but like every time we add somebody in, there might be something interesting that they bring. So like I mentioned before, this is like the first time that we're like seeing like the inception of like this like mistake and like the direct consequence. Like if Romeo x Juliet, she's like one in a long line of it, and like Pacifica, it's more like a prophecy. He's like instantaneous, like it's like boom, boom, suffer princess immediately. And then one thing that's cool is he can defend himself. Which is something that Juliet can also do as the red whirlwind. Pacifica she can't do anything.
No, she can't do it. Can't do
Clearly
shit.
can't do shit. So we're gonna talk about Duck, and I'm gonna hand that right over. I've talked enough. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna have some Powerade Zero, and we're gonna let Babs take over.
Okay, how do you work this thing? Okay. So we have Duck, a hero, another suffer princess contender. So she is from the anime Princess Tutu. Really good show. So as her name implies, she is literally a duck. She starts off the show as a duck, and she's given this power by this character, Drosselmeyer, where the pendant that's given that will give her the power to become a 14-year-old girl, and she can also use it to become Princess Tutu. So throughout the story, she is, if she takes off the necklace as well, she'll revert back to being a duck, or if she quacks or make any sound, she'll become a duck as well. So when she is Princess Tutu, she's very like wise and graceful, in contrast to her normal character as a 14-year-old girl who is not any of those characteristics. So this story, it's like a story within a story, where we have this character Drosselmeyer, where he is the author of this story concerning a prince and a raven, and he actually, the author dies, so he can't finish the story anymore. So this prince and raven in the story are constantly fighting this eternal battle that they're never able to get finished because the author died. So they are sick and tired of this, and they actually escape from the story. So to try to remedy this, the prince takes a sword and cuts into his own heart and scatters his heart into shards. And what that does is that seals away the raven and helps the story kind of be paused. But the story like leaks out into the real world, and the story the story within a story, and then the real like town kind of get intermingled, and everything kind of gets screwed up. So the prince in the story, because of this, because his heart is broken, he kind of essentially becomes useless. He's just like a guy standing there doing nothing, no thoughts behind this brain. And what Drosselmeyer basically asks Duck is that if she wants to save the prince. And she is given that pendant to become Princess Tutu to be able to save his heart. So what makes a hero or Duck a suffer princess? The fact that she would basically like sacrifice her own life for the prince. But the whole prophecy within this story is that the pendant around her neck is the last heart shard to be given to the prince, so that if she ends the story and kind of makes everything go back to the way it was, she'll just go back to being just a bird, sacrificing a part of herself. And the conflict that she has, obviously, is that she doesn't want the story to end. She's fallen in love with the prince. Has made friends in her human form. So this is a big conflict where she has to choose between her identity, her livelihood, against saving the world, saving the story. So obviously, ultimately, in the end, she does give up that last heart piece and saves the prince and saves the story. But the whole, the big conflict that she had, the question was like, was she actually Princess Tutu all along, or is she just a duck? So the nice thing at the end of the story is that she does realize that she is one and the same. Princess Tutu and Duck are the same person. She has these characters in the beginning that aren't really on her side in the beginning, but then they end up actually becoming her friends. And there's also actually this like doll-like character, Edel, who like kind of follows her throughout the story as well. That gives her advice and kind of helps her guide along the way, like she has her little tribe that helps her. So kind of wanted to skip here. So why is Duck a suffer princess? So again, we have these characteristics. She's a little princess. She's a girl, but she wasn't really abandoned as a baby. She started out as a duck. So those things aren't the same. Everybody wants her dead. She definitely has like a whole tribe of people that in the beginning definitely wanted her to go against her mission of saving the prince's heart, but they actually became the small faction of people on her side towards the end. Another thing we don't have is there's no Sweet 16th. Boo. There is a prophecy, and then there's this aspect where there's this conflict between self-preservation of her identity and actually wanting to save the world. She has to make this obviously difficult decision. So what does Duck add to the trope? So the location of the story takes place outside of reality. That's a consistent thing we've seen with the other characters. It's kind of like a world inside of a world, a story within a story. Floating pizza slices.
We were joking about the floating pizza slice.
This is actually a thing.
You'll see it. I literally put it in here.
So this is actually a thing that we won't. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at it. This is Crab Princess. Okay, they're like living in like a small little like pizza slice in the sky, and then like the whole like world ending is that like boom, pizza slice goes back into the regular world. That's like the apocalypse in it. It's fantastic. No, it's literally so good. And Romeo and Juliet, they're like living on like also a pizza slice in the sky, but it's like a fresh cheese. Like it's still like, you know, like, I don't know, it's like more organic, but literally they're like, oh my God, it's a tree, it's gonna fall out of the sky and it's what we live on.
So it's funny that like a lot of these stories that we had, they all have this aspect of like two realities in one, like a story within a story. Like it's just interesting.
Okay.
Your turn.
All right, it's back to me. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you for attending.
Do you want some comics, actually?
You never hear anybody talk about Scrap Princess, and it's really...
I know, right? Like.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about Adora. I don't know. Well, have you seen She-Ra?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great. We have one in attendance. Me. So we have Adora, and she's from the Princesses of Power by Nate Stevenson. And basically, she is also a teenage girl, and she is going... she like lives in the Horde. She's like told that like there are like these evil princesses out there in the world, and they need to stop them. Basically, like long story short, she ends up in a situation in the first episode where she's like, "Oh my God, I'm captured by princesses, the enemy! No!" She's a princess. Ha! Plot twist. And she's like a really cool princess. There's this this is like in the series she's like, I didn't know being a princess was contagious.
Oh my God.
She was like, no, they're evil. So anyway, she like joins the princesses. She's like embraces it. She becomes a princess. And she starts like learning more about like who she is, because she's not just like any princess. She's like this prophesized princess over time. So like the world has been waiting for the She-Ra. They always like, there's this character Light Hope, and they're always like the She-Ra. It's very deep. But basically, there's like this like light prophecy in general that like she's supposed to like come in times of need, and like she's supposed to save the world. It's very like, it's giving like Avatar. And so she's like, yeah. And sometimes she gets knocked down, but she gets back up again. And she keeps going, and like for like 4 or 5 seasons, she's like, fine. Like the world is ending, but like the world is like really ending at one point, and they were like, ugh. And apparently it's like almost ended before, and somebody else like suffer princess before her, and they're like, no, I didn't want anybody else to suffer princess. No. And Adora's like, I guess I have to suffer princess, right? So like they find out that there's like this like they call it like the fail safe, but there's like the world is like sick and needs antibiotics. And she's like, I'm the only one that can handle the antibiotics, and I might die or might not die, but like there's no chance of like healing the earth if I don't do this. And so like everybody's like, yeah, you should do that, even if it kills you, because like that's important for the narrative, right? It's important for us. And one person is like, you know what? Nobody else has been like, I don't know, do you really have to like choose death? Is that like our only option here, is like you have to choose like the sacrifice? So I just think it's really cool that like we finally have like maybe we don't do that. Is there another way between like me or the world? So anyway, Adora's like, no, like the choice is an illusion. I have to do this. I have to be the one. I am the prophesized person. Like I was made to do this. And it like backfires on her, and like it's fine. But basically like her whole thing is dealing with like me versus the world, and she chooses sacrifice. So she also hits like almost all of the plot points. She might not have been born a princess, but she like becomes one. Something that's kind of like a fun fact is like, usually like these characters are like abandoned as a baby, or like child neglect, or like something not great happens to them. Her fact is that she was strategically stolen as a baby to be the suffer princess of her world. So like Duck, she was like literally lifted out of somewhere else to come into this other space to like serve this narrative and like physical purpose. And she also has no sweet 16. Fortunately, she has Princess Prom, so that makes up for it a little bit. Okay, what did she add to the trope, right? Like, I would not deny that she is a suffer princess. but like, what does she add? And I would say it's more like she's not born a suffer princess, but like she's made one by like somebody selecting like a higher force, or like a greater being is like choosing that path for her. And it's kind of like for Adora, it's Light Hope. For Duck, it's Drosselmeyer, the guy like pulling all the strings in the background. And for Juliet, it's like Ophelia. Ophelia's like, you're the last in the line. Like, you have to do this. And I'm like calling for you out of the tree to come here and sacrifice yourself. So yeah, there's that. And then something that's kind of like, especially with like, I think we first see it with Duck, but like it's more present with Adora, it's also kind of like happened twice again, is that like they both struggle with this identity issue where they're like, am I the suffer princess? Am I not the suffer princess? And it's kind of like you cannot remove that element of themselves. Like for Adora, she is She-Ra. She's not somebody that hosts She-Ra, she is She-Ra. And for Duck, she's not just Princess Tutu. She's Duck and she's Princess Tutu. And also I think the biggest one here is they're like, is there another option? Can we choose something other than death? And that leads us into our final princess.
Our last suffer princess, Hyakkimaru Anthy. Oop, wrong button. She's from the show Revolutionary Girl, Utena. If you haven't seen it, watch it. If you know anything about Ikuharu's works, they're extremely subjective.
Try and understand Utena.
There's a lot of symbolism in the story. Like, so much symbolism that you feel kind of crazy trying to like decipher it and make it seem linear. We were having a lot of issues trying to like pin it down, but I'll try my best. So Hyakkimaru Anthy, she is a teenage girl who goes to Hotori Academy, and she's known as something as the Rose Bride. So the Rose Bride, basically what they say is that she has the power to revolutionize the world. And wow. A lot of people want that power, but the other main character of the story, Utena, kind of not knowingly, but ends up being engaged to her, duels for her in the first episode, and then ends up being engaged to her, and she's like, well, I guess we're engaged now. I have your power, and you're my bride. So a lot of people, like I said, want this power for themselves. They want to duel Utena, and each kind of selfishly have Anthy's power for their own in some way or another. So again, we have a story within a story. So this other story that takes place in the inside is a place where there's princesses and princes, but there's only one prince. He is called the Rose Prince, and since he existed, he made everything, flowery and light, and he can save all the princesses, and everything's right in the world. So if a princess is having a monster attacking her, or she needs a date on Christmas Eve because she's all alone, the prince will be there to save her. Fear not, I reserved a table for us at a French restaurant. So like he'll come and save the prince, like he's there. Any issue, he's there. So in this world of princesses and one prince, there's a village where these two children basically were abandoned, and the one child is the Rose Prince, and he is tired. He's been fighting and saving all these princesses, and it's a lot of work. So Anthy, his little sister, basically says, take a load off, man. I got you. Just take a rest. You've been fighting too hard. And the villagers are obviously not happy because they have their princesses, their daughters that need to be saved, and they're wondering what he's doing. He's lazy and needs to get up and save the princesses. So Anthy comes out and she's like, I sealed him away. You can't deal with it. You can't touch him. In this world, if you're not a princess, you're a witch. So basically she's saying, I'm protecting him, I'm going to be a witch, so you guys can't touch him anymore. And obviously they're not happy with that. And Utena, her conflict is basically that the prophecy in this world is that basically anytime she dies, the world will reset. And she's constantly suffering in place of the prince so that she can kind of take on the brunt of the suffering and the pain. So, like I said, the conflict is that when will she be able to sacrifice herself to be able to revolutionize and start a new world? Like I said, Ikuhara, his symbolism is crazy, so that's basically the best I got. And in the end, Utena and Anthy are pretty much one and the same. I feel like they're both kind of fit in the suffer princess trope, but more Anthy so. Because in the end, Utena does get sacrificed. She literally gets stabbed in the back by Anthy, and Anthy gets sacrificed to reset the world. Stabbed and sacrificed. So why is Anthy another suffer princess contender? Again, little princess, she's a girl. Abandoned as a baby, I'm not too sure. She's
abandoned by the narrative.
She's abandoned by the narrative. I guess there wasn't really anything in the story that said like she was abandoned as a baby, but like you said, abandoned in the narrative, that's a good one. Everybody wants them dead. I think again, like everybody wants her power for themselves, so they're all dueling Utena to, try to get it for themselves. And then when we were first talking about a small faction of people on their side, at first I was like, Utena's on her side, but not necessarily. I feel like Utena is also kind of doing her own struggle in the story, so like we both decided that really no group is truly on her side. She's kind of alone in this, so that's how she differs in the trope. And then again, no Sweet 16. But we do think that something that is interesting is that even though there's no Sweet 16 in a lot of these characters, a coming of age might be more significant, where it's like literally them revolutionizing themselves is like literally them like kind of accepting themselves onto a new stage of life. So we're kind of thinking like maybe not Sweet 16, but more like a coming of age story. And then we got a prophecy, they need to die or the world will end, and then the conflict between literally like their own self-preservation and maintaining world order. And then what does Anthy add to the trope? So unifying idea that the key to the end of the world, which is literally a character in the story, which is could be a whole.
It's not confusing at all.
We could be a whole nother panel. It's just revolution, which feels like an apocalyptic event. So that like the idea that the end of the world is it literally feels like an apocalyptic event. She's trapped in this like kind of dreary and dark world where Utena literally needs to come and pull herself out to be able to move on to that next step. And then our findings.
Conclusions. Do you want to do this together or you want me to?
We can do it together.
Okay. Findings.
So one of the first findings we had is that they all have like a nickname, like a code name.
Rose Bride, She-Ra,
Duck is Princess Tutu.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. Yeah, we thought it was interesting that they all had kind of some sort of remix to their original name. And they all have like foils.
There's always like
main
a crown
character.
prince. There's always like Hyakkimaru has there's like a second born prince, and like he ends up like, at least in the anime, like ruling it a little bit, and he's like, no, my brother, but also like, and then the twin, right? Don't forget Pacifica's twin was
has
like,
the twin brother.
was like, oh, like I'll save Pacifica, and then also like he gets stabbed. Actually, he stabs himself and Pacifica.
A lot of stabbing.
Yeah, there is
A
so much
lot of
stabbing
like literal backstabbing in
Yeah.
these stories, which is interesting. So, and then the idea that like also any character can become a suffer princess. Like obviously,
You don't have to be born.
Yeah, you don't have to be born a little princess, or you don't have to be a girl. But like just like I think the main thing is like the conflict between self-preservation and like literal like ending of the world. Like they have to decide between themselves or saving the world.
Yeah. They all get sacrificed. Like every single one of them, either like willingly or like it's like forced upon them. Not all of them die. Apparently you can survive sacrifice, like Duck.
But like a literal part of her identity gets sacrificed. So like she has to give up like a part of herself that obviously she truly loves and has to like literally grieve. But she's able to make that decision and realize she was Princess Tutu all along.
Yeah.
And is that it? Oh.
Yeah, these are just like
definition.
amendments that we made, just like kind of Suffer Princess can be like more gender neutral. Like you can be a prince just as long as you're like royal and suffering.
You have to suffer. You have to. You have to be of royal blood.
Like Bab said before, like it doesn't have to be something that's like abandoned as a baby or like tied to like 16th birthday or something. Like it can be more, all kind of like coming of age or like childhood neglect or abandoned by the narrative, that kind of thing.
But again, like I think the biggest thing is that conflict between like self-preservation
We'll get
and
there.
like the sorry. Yeah.
Just literally next slide.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Next
The
slide.
defining trait of the Suffer Princess. We've made it here.
This is the main and end all of what we think defines our Suffer Princess trope.
Yeah.
As I've said a million times.
Literally have to choose between yourself and the world. And the entire world is fighting you the entire time. And you're like, ooh, can I live?
So, yeah.
Cool. I will take this part.
Here you go.
Cool. I do comics. Yeah! Long time coming. Anyway, I'm doing a comics panel tomorrow. That is the art of reading comics in this room. So hopefully we will fix this issue and you'll be able to hang out with me just in the vicinity. Love comics. Going to be chatting about it. And then how to keep in touch. This is also super tiny here. But all of my information will be on these beautiful cards here. And I have a YouTube channel. We are trying to do the YouTube thing. And my YouTube name is Artisanal Fruits. My website is sierraedwards.com, so you can like see if I'm doing panels or if I'm at conventions or something like that. And then my email, if you want to keep in contact, is sierraedwards.media@gmail.com. And this is your time. This is your time for questions and comments. So I don't think we need a microphone, but if you have any Suffer Princesses that you came up with along the way or you thought we were really cool, it's the time to tell us.
Don't all jump at once.
Crickets, crickets, crickets.
This is a totally new concept to me.
I know!
I know, we were like, is there something?
There's like something, and there's like so many characters that like almost fit the trope, but then there's something like that gets like swept under and it's like, oh, like, do we change the whole trope or like, is there something more here? Like human sacrifice is nothing new. Like humanity's been sacrificing people for like ever. Prophesized children is nothing new. But there's something like
Lurking here.
finessing, yeah. There's like secret ingredients. Do you have?
Did anyone go over Madoka Magica?
Oh, we have not.
I thought about that, but neither of us have watched
We
it
haven't
enough.
watched it.
Like where
We failed you.
But like we know that there's definitely a Suffer Princess there. I feel like.
Are you a big fan of Madoka Magica?
Yeah, I am. Like, I managed to binge watch the whole series in like one day. It's
Oh,
like,
amazing.
That's one of the only series I've ever binged.
Yeah.
What character do you think? I've been spoiled a bit. Which character do you think is the most Suffer Princess?
It's kind of hard to decide between
All of them?
Well,
They all suffer.
A number of them do seem to be suffered. Like, the main two leads are both like really suffered princesses. It's like you have one character who keeps trying to go back in time to like save her friend from dying, and like the other one who like has always wanted to be a magic girl, but turns out that it's not so good being a magical girl because it's like you're in constant danger. You give up your for a wish. You give up your physical body,
Yeah.
and also once you become a magical girl, at some point in time, no matter what, you're going to become a witch. This monstrous thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Kind of like Utena, where
Yeah,
it's like
I
you're
feel
either
like-
a princess or a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah, pretty much like all of the characters suffer being a magical girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, I feel like Madoka Magica is like
I was definitely thinking about it.
like revolutionary girl. Like what is like Madoka Magica is to Revolutionary Girl Utena what like Evangelion is to like Gundam.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the. I know Gundam now. Gotten into the Gundam. No Suffer Princesses in there yet. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with us
Yes,
tonight.
thank you.
This was, I feel like kind of like that it was really small and special. We got you all to hang out. You guys all had to sit around our computer. So yeah, that was great. Keep in touch. Come to the panel later. And thank you so much. Yeah, take a comic, take a million. Like there's so many. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Woo! Oh, we are tired. Everybody can go to bed. Like, oh.
We did it.